And there was this nagging feeling that somehow all of this could just go away. One day. This is good now, but one day you might lose all your money. One day, all of what you're doing, what you have built is gonna just like kind of, I don't know, like run through your fingers or crash down. One day. It was this, it's good now, but for how long? Hello again, this time with video, which is very exciting. And also, it feels like I'm doing this for the first time, which I kind of love. It kind of has this like, I don't know, there's a little bit of like vibrancy in the air. Everything feels a little bit like, ooh, I don't know what I'm doing. This is so strange, even though I've done it a couple of times now. But, anyways, I'm back and I've been sitting on this episode for a couple of weeks. And as you know me, the episode tells me when it wants to be expressed, when it wants to flow out. And also the podcast and everything that's like has been emerging inside of me, has been happening, has been kind of like, what's the best word? Like kind of like cooking and like kind of, I feel like I was like this incubator for the last couple of months. And every time that I felt like, ooh, I think there's a new episode coming, I feel something's here, something wants to come, it somehow wasn't the time. And with this one, though, which is a beautiful process in which kind of all ties together, it has been that the title of the episode was there, I think, like probably 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. And when I felt it and it had it in my field, I was like, okay, this already like does something to me. But still, it was like just sitting there. I was just like kind of every now and then tuning in. It came back. But today, on this beautiful, beautiful springy day in New York City, where I am now, which is also, we like kind of crossed the Atlantic since the last time you saw me or you heard me. And yeah, this episode is called The Threshold of Love. And it feels so absolutely right and true to record this today. And at the same time, it feels somewhat daring, somewhat like, this one is going to stretch me a little bit. But that's exactly what I want. And I know that's also why you're here and why you're listening. And since, or as of today, watching, which is also kind of exciting to do this both on video and also for you to hear my voice. The Threshold of Love. And by the way, I'm like kind of, there's this like beautiful sunset right now happening. And I'm just like kind of every now and then drifting as the light changes. And it's just epic, the view. Coming back to the Threshold of Love and where do we begin? Where do we begin is actually a perfect kind of segue that I want to begin with a happy beginning. I was talking about this today. I was sending a voice note to one of my friends, and I was talking about love in the romantic sense, even though this episode is going to be so much bigger than that. But this is where we're going to start. And I was talking about love in the romantic sense and how this idea of love, there's like this beginning of like a connection, and then two people meet, and then there is this kind of story arc of like there is some struggle and some like back and forth and like some like, yeah, maybe some chasing and some pulling back and not knowing, and eventually after some kind of like struggle in one way or another, there's this happy ending, and then two people are together. And I said to her, like, fuck this. Like, what's that? And been there, done that. And for me, this knowing that, hold on, no. This was always supposed not to be like a happy ending. This was supposed to be a happy beginning. That's what I signed up for. That's what it really is. That's what love, if we allow it, actually is. It's from the very beginning an experience that happiness isn't the word for, but that feels warm and light and opens us and expands us and feels very alive, which can be, in some moments, feel almost like a little bit scary of how alive we feel. But that's what it is. When there is no struggle, when there is no kind of story that we have to move through in order for the love to finally has the space like to unfold. What if this doesn't have to be the case? And so here, for my own happy beginning, but even more so, and this is where this episode was way more born from, or the threshold of love was kind of how it entered my field, was that what I want to dive into and what this way of being that I chose for myself, that I reoriented myself towards over and over again, was exploring my own threshold of love and how easy, how beautiful, how effortless, how easeful, how fulfilling, how, and now please put in whichever word makes your body feel like, can I allow my life to be? Can I allow my business to be? Can I allow my friendships to be? Can I allow my relationships to be? Can I allow money to be? Can I allow success to be? Can I allow, and yet again, fill in the blank, to be? Can I allow this experience and the unfolding to feel that way? And what stood out for me, and what, no matter what I did, no matter what, in what kind of dimension of my life I looked, it always came back to this, to my threshold of love. And when I say my threshold of love, I mean my capacity to receive without struggle, without earning, without proving, without justifying, without explaining, without any kind of constructed like restriction or something that I have to do before I can receive. This is why This is not an episode just about romantic love or even love as some airy fairy kind of thing. This is about love as a legitimate force in all creation, or should we say the legitimate force of all creation? It is, and that's where it feels most daring, how I have led my life in every dimension, especially in the last years, and especially, or even more so, more fully since the emergence of Being Studios in my business as well. When I let love be the one and only point of direction, my orientation. And to make love a little bit more tangible, because I know it can be a little bit of like a kind of more ambient kind of feeling. Love in the sense of my desire, my attraction, my longing, to let that be what guides me, my navigation, my North Star, my whatever you want to call it, the very thing that moves me, that tells me this way, this is where you want to go. And to let love be that, the reason, has felt many times daring as fuck, audacious, almost crazy, almost like I'm losing every sense of direction because everything is kind of like I'm in this like vertigo feeling, like am I moving up, down, left, right? What's like time slowing, time's faster? It's like suddenly everything that I knew started to shift. And this isn't some, ooh, and then from this day on, this is what I did. This has been a journey. This has been how I have lived and moved through my life for a long time. However, especially when I knew that Being Studios was my next, if we want to call it, professional move, this became way more evident and way more intense. My capacity to receive has been, before that, already quite open. It showed in many ways. It showed in how effortlessly my previous business kind of emerged, and money and clients came in very quickly, very abundantly, and most of all, effortlessly. Everything was just like as if this door opened. Sorry, my nose is running. This is like one of the new things with recording with video. Everything happened so fast, and like kind of one day I was looking and suddenly like, okay, this is a completely new reality that I'm existing in. And everything about this was beautiful. And at the same time, after having been like living in that state and in that reality for a while, I noticed that there's more. And there was this nagging feeling that somehow all of this could just go away. one day, this is good now, but one day you might lose all your money. One day, all of what you're doing, what you have built is going to just like kind of, I don't know, like run through your fingers or crash down. One day. It was this, it's good now, but for how long? And even though I was living this beautiful, expansive, rich life in every sense of the word, that feeling was always there. Didn't change how much money I made, didn't change how successful I was, didn't change with whether I was in a relationship or whether I wasn't, or whether I was in like whatever like place in the world I was. It was like it was there. Sometimes quieter, sometimes louder, but it was there. And obviously, like for many people, the kind of the feeling, and I know they know this feeling, the response to that would be, okay, we need to secure ourselves even more, make even more sure that this can't happen. And this is where all the doing comes from. It's where you're working more, you're trying harder, where some sort of strategy seems like a good way to make sure that everything that you've built is going to stay that way, is going to be there tomorrow. And the more I saw that even though everything has been kind of coming to me so quickly and so effortlessly, the response to this feeling was not going to be found in me doing more. Because knowing that even if it would have kind of like subsided or it went away, that it was because I did more would have left me with knowing, oh, now I have to keep on doing that constantly, because otherwise everything will come to an end eventually. Everything might crash. If I stop doing, everything will fall apart. And so I did the most obvious thing and did the opposite. And what I found in every single dimension of my life was that my capacity to receive, my openness to let in what I desire, was the only factor that truly mattered. It's not about how, or rather, it's easy to kind of get things, but you will always know what it took for you to get them. And when it took a lot of work, when it took effort, when it took struggle, when it took whatever, you name it, you know. And anything that comes from that will always feel just as good as the way of being that you created it from. If I make a lot of money, but I'm doing it from a place of doing from effort, that's how good the money will feel. Eventually, it will just be kind of the money that I got to compensate for all my effort. And where I want to take us in this episode is that we can talk money, we can talk success, we can talk all the tangible things in life that people desire. Essentially, what we're talking about is love, because the money that you are receiving comes from people who love what you do. The success is built out of moments, pockets in time where somebody resonated deeply with who you are. Even though they may come up with reasons why they wanted to work with you, or being able to explain what exactly it was that led them to that decision. That's just a justification that is needed for many to say, I just knew I wanted this. If we take away any and every word that justifies us or justifies attraction, then it is simply that. I want it because I want it. And that's a very tender place, because I don't know why I want what I want. I just want it. It leaves me in the rawest, the most open, the most expanded state where I don't justify, I don't explain, I don't need reasons for my desire to exist. And it's also the space where it can actually breathe. It can exist, it can be. To hold it there without justification, without creating a story around it that makes sense and brings it back down into reality, right? To make it realistic, to make it something that is allowed to exist. Choosing to stay in that state where my longing and my desire doesn't need permission to exist because it already exists. It's here. I can feel it. I can feel that this is what I desire. And can I let it be? Can I allow it to exist? And that means, can I allow it to feel, to be felt, to let the full magnitude of this feeling exist inside of me, receive it. There's so many moments that I could recall where, and this is, we're talking micro, nuance, precision here. When I'm talking about energetic leadership mastery, this is not about some, very grand, just like, how do I put this the best way? You already know what you want. This is not about just some general direction. This is about being so attuned to the moment that you can feel this micro movement inside of you that would kind of lead you to either follow your desire and allow it to fully be there, or towards, oh, I need to kind of protect myself from it. I need to find some story, justification. I need to kind of just distance myself from it just a few millimeters. And when I stopped doing that, when I stopped creating this micro distance where I was just like kind of watching it, but where I allowed it to exist inside of me, everything changed. It feels pretty epic to just allow yourself to want what you want and cut the crap of all the finding a justification, an explanation, all those hurdles, kind of the hoops you would have to jump through before it is okay for you to want it, and even more so to have it. Our capacity to receive is there and it's infinite. The question is really how easy, how effortless, without creating these obstacles that justify receiving, can I allow it to be? Can I allow the love to pour into me without interfering, without delaying, without trying to speed it up or slowing it down, like holding it at bay? This is where, yes, you exist in a place where suddenly it's like, oh, no control. Not that it ever was ever really true, that you controlled anything, but where you can feel it, where you can feel that now I'm allowing it to be. And I'm allowing things to come to me just as much as I allow things to move through me, to leave me, if you want to say so. And it becomes very visible when you start doing that, how, oh, which of the things, and when I say things, I'm meaning people, clients, sources of income, any kind of relationship in your life starts to slowly dissipate, kind of dry out, and which ones start to move towards you, start to come closer. This process or this way of being, to allow that, has been the most epic journey of my life. And I'm still on it, obviously, but to get through this place where I am standing here and I'm staying here and I'm allowing my reality to rearrange itself around me, is exactly where I want to be. And it is exactly how I allow my life to become effortless, for things that used to feel hard and heavy to feel just playful and light. It's funny how the word threshold is like two, or has like two meanings, right? It's the threshold, it's like this kind of portal, the precipice, like you're kind of a doorway you step through. And at the same time, it's your capacity, right? Pain threshold, like how much pain can you endure? And for me, it is exactly why after the name emerged, I'm like, yeah, of course, funny. Um, it means these two things at the same time. On the one hand, stepping through this threshold that love is inviting you to step through, to open up to this way of being, to this way of existing in the world. And at the same time, opening you up to your capacity to receive. How much love can flow to you without you having to earn it. The whole world is trying to earn love, essentially. It's what nobody wants to talk about because it's the innermost, like, core kind of distortion that we exist in, that there's something that I have to do to receive. I'm not just worthy to receive for no reason. My existence isn't enough. And to get to that point where you suddenly feel that, feeling it in your body is like, my existence is enough for me to receive anything. That's eventually where everybody wants to go, like where everybody wants to arrive. Question is just, is doing gonna get us there? Opening up to receiving without struggle, without earning, shows up in very, very concrete ways. For me, in my business, this meant that I'm not ever going to explain myself. I don't even explain what I do. Not because it's confusing to me or because it's vague or for any other reason, but that this is not something that can be explained. It's felt. It's resonance. It's your body saying yes. This is how people come to me and decide they want to work with me, because they don't know why, but at the same time, they do know. From a business perspective, that leaves you in a very different territory because not even I can explain why they want to work with me. And in the way that most people run a business, it's like, if I can explain why somebody wants to buy my product or work with me, if it's a service, or then I also stay in control because I can replicate it, because I know why they did it. So I'm just going to continue doing that, whatever it was. To allow yourself to not know means I can't recreate that. I can't manufacture it. And also, I don't want to. I don't want people to know why they want to work with me, because the way of being that we're talking about requires them to move exactly from that place into this threshold that working with me is. It's, I can't explain it, but I do feel that this is what is right, what feels true. It's exactly how I move through the world. And what allows me to, yet again, right now, at this point and a time in my life, in more uncertainty than ever, if I look at kind of the outside, but I sit in a level of certainty that is unmatched. I've never been more certain in my life about where I am. And that allows me to move in very different ways than if I tried to make things certain, because through that, I'm trying to get that feeling of certainty. This is also where we collapse feelings into a story. Eventually, holding a feeling, holding it inside of you, staying with it, not doing anything with it, not trying to get rid of it, not trying to make something out of it, is asking you for a new level of capacity to stay in uncertainty. Uncertainty in the sense of this feeling exists, it is here, it is true, I can feel it, but I'm not collapsing it into a story to justify its existence. Meaning, I've always felt, for example, what being studios would be, what it would allow me to receive, but to feel that way before any kind of proof was there was exactly where this capacity to receive expanded, where this is true inside of me now, and I don't need evidence. I don't need proof to say it is true. I can hold it kind of like almost like this. That's kind of the image that I see, is like you're holding it on your hand and it's there. You're holding it, but you're not gripping it. Especially when a feeling is so good and so big and so like, oh my God, to not collapse it into a story, to secure it, is what allows the feeling to actually unfold everything for you. The threshold of love is where I feel, again, right now in my life, more than ever. And I would say I've never enjoyed it more than right now. I've never enjoyed the uncertainty that my life currently, um, is gifting me with more, from this place of certainty inside of me. To allow things to come to me, being met where I am, without having to move, is like just the best feeling in the world. Is like, I mean, you can see it in my face. This is what being studios has always been for me. And anyone that has ever worked with me or experienced my work is stepping through that threshold and experiences that the more they can actually open up to what is true inside of them, what is alive, what is there, and allow that to exist without it needing a justification, without it needing a validation, but just holding it. They eventually get to experience this way of being and what it allows them in every dimension of their life. It's being, it's receiving from that state, from a state that does not require me to chase, to prove, to earn, to struggle before I deserve all the love, money, beauty, ease, pleasure in this world. And to be seen in this state, in this in the presence of your own longing and your own desire, and being seen wanting. Because wanting also has something very revealing about it, right? It shows that you feel that you're deserving of it. That, yeah, I'm supposed to have that. And to be seen in that, holding it, allowing yourself to feel that, and to feel the pleasure of this state long before the actual thing arrives, makes the actual thing just like kind of the cherry on top of the cake. Because now it's not about the outcome, but about who I was the entire time, how I allow myself to exist in every moment. That's why it makes this so immediate, because there's no delay anymore. There's not, oh, okay, and then one day, and then there's the manifestation, or there's the big, I don't know, achievement. It's like, no, it's here. I'm getting it right now. I'm not waiting. There's this beautiful, there's this German saying that says, freu dich nicht zu früh, which kind of translates, it's like, kind of don't get your hopes up, but like the actual literal translation of the German one would be, don't kind of be don't be joyful too early, or like don't get excited about something too early. And the other week I read something and I'm like, yes, which basically said, freu dich nicht zu spät. So don't get excited too late. And this is it. This is allowing for the feeling to be there and penetrate you. Like, be so freaking intimate with it. Not keeping it like kind of 3-4 centimeters, millimeters even, kind of outside of you. No, but really letting it in, letting it land. And it is for many, and including myself, depending on what it was about, and still is, like a scary feeling to let it all just in. And letting it live, especially in this open hand, not gripping it, but like I'm allowing it to be here. And I don't need to collapse it into a story to make it, to secure it. I can allow it to move and grow and unfold. And yeah, I'm in it right now, as you can tell. Like I'm like fully channeling and fully like, to be with that and being that intimate with life and with every moment and with your own aliveness. I have never felt more alive in my life, and it's a trip. And it is what I wanted. It's this is how I want to exist. This is how I want to lead my life, from my own aliveness, from feeling that this is true now. This is alive in me, not explaining it away, not for it to need some sort of, like I said, justification for it to exist, but feeling that this exists, this is here, this is real, this is true, this is me. And when you realize that reality and life is nothing but one big freaking relationship game. Game is maybe not the right word, but like let's keep it playful for now. It's game. And that our ability to stay in relationship and how we hold our posture in that relationship changes how life is responding to us. And when I say life, I mean all of it, right? People, money, work, all of it. And this is, if I would have to kind of put it into words, can we allow that relationship to be one where we are met from the very beginning? Coming back to the happy beginning, where somebody is meeting you exactly where you want to be met, where you don't have to explain, where you don't have to prove, where you don't have to justify, where you don't have to jump through some hoop or do anything before you can feel that they're choosing you. And allow that to be chosen for no reason, to be given for no reason, to receive for no reason, to exist for no other reason than you were meant to be. And walking through life in that way, knowing I was meant to be, I was born to be. And I feel this is a very nice ending, actually, a very nice end node of this episode. The first one of a new cycle. I'm back. I'm in New York. I am in love and definitely at my own threshold of love right now. Yeah. I feel there's not much more to say other than I'm like, as you can see, as you can tell, hopefully, by my voice, my smile, my cheeks are a little bit hurting from all the smiling. I'm really happy to be back. I'm happy to, happy about this reemergence. And I can't wait to now officially see you in the next episode. So much love your way.